You're watching NetMyths, where forgotten fates, unsolved mysteries, and the darkest chapters of history are brought back into the light. If stories like this intrigue you, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the next case. Los Angeles, morning of January 15, 1947. On a quiet street in Limer Park, the early sun cast long shadows across an empty lot, where dry weeds clung to patches of earth and old tire tracks etched faint lines into the soil. A young woman walked hand in hand with her 3-year-old daughter on their way to a nearby shoe repair shop. As they passed the lot, the mother's eyes froze. Just a few steps from the sidewalk lay a pale, motionless figure. From a distance, it looked like a discarded mannequin, naked, stiff, seemingly sunbathing under the morning light. But as the mother stepped closer, tightening her grip on her daughter's hand out of instinct, her heart nearly stopped. It wasn't a mannequin, it was a woman, sawn clean in half. The upper and lower halves of her body lay neatly separated, as if deliberately ranged. She was lying on her back, face turned skyward, eyes wide open in a vacant, haunting stare. Her mouth had been carved open from ear to ear, forming a grotesque Glasgow smile, the kind seen only in nightmares. There was no blood, no sign of struggle. Everything was disturbingly clean, sterile, almost surgical. The mother, trembling, clutched her daughter and ran. Moments later, sirens pierced the morning stillness. One of the most horrific murder cases in American history had just begun. Her name was Elizabeth Short. But from the moment her body was discovered in the heart of Los Angeles, the world would know her by another name, the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth was born in July 1924 in Massachusetts during the depths of America's Great Depression. When she was just 5, her father, a golf course designer, drove away and never returned. His abandoned car was found near a bridge. Everyone assumed he had committed suicide. Her mother became the sole provider, raising 5 children on a meager accountant's salary and government assistance. Despite the hardships, every weekend she took her kids to the cinema. To Elizabeth, the silver screen wasn't just an escape. It was the seat of a dream. She wanted to become a star. Elizabeth had the classic Hollywood look: raven black wavy hair, porcelain skin, and blood-red lips. But behind her delicate appearance was a life riddled with uncertainty. At 16, she dropped out of school and moved to Florida to live with relatives, hoping the warmer weather would help with her chronic lung condition. 2 years later, a letter arrived from the man she thought had died, her father. He hadn't killed himself. He had simply run away from debt and responsibility. He invited her to live with him in California, a half-hearted attempt at redemption. Elizabeth agreed. To her, California wasn't just a new home, it was Hollywood, the land of lights, dreams, and movie stars. But reality hit hard. Their relationship was cold and distant. Elizabeth refused to do housework. Her father disapproved of her nightlife. After a few bitter months, she packed her bags and left, stepping into Los Angeles alone, broke, and full of fragile hope. At 18, Elizabeth drifted through diners, retail jobs, and occasional modeling gigs. By day, she wore a charming smile while waiting tables. By night, she vanished into smoke-filled bars and the arms of strangers. She had no home, no close friends, nowhere to return to. She once fell in love with a U.S. Army major named Gordon, fickling and dreamed of marriage after the war. But his plane went down just before peace was declared. Her dreams shattered, like her body would be later. Elizabeth spiraled into grief, seeking solace in alcohol and fleeting romances. Unbeknownst to her, fate was slowly sketching a path, one that led to a barren lot where death waited. January 1947. Los Angeles was wrapped in a thick winter haze, as if bracing itself for the horror to come. By then, 22-year-old Elizabeth was renting a cramped, windowless room, $1 per day, and even that was unaffordable. Her waitress wages vanished as quickly as they came, on drinks, cigarettes, and endless nights out. She was running out of options, and when everything else had been spent, there was only one thing left to sell: herself. One night, she met a man named Robert Red Manley, a married traveling salesman. Enchanted by her delicate beauty, he invited her on a short trip to San Diego. They spent 2 days together. On January 9th, they returned to Los Angeles. Red dropped her off at the Biltmore Hotel, saying she was waiting for her sister. That was the last confirmed sighting of Elizabeth Short alive. Hotel staff recalled her making a phone call from the lobby. Then she vanished. Some claimed to have seen her at the bar below the infamous Cecil Hotel that evening, a place now known for unsolved tragedies, including the disappearance of Eliza Lamb decades later. Elizabeth dissolved into the Los Angeles night, lost in its music, its men, and its lies. She had no idea the killer was already watching. He approached her gently, perhaps offering a drink, a meal, or simply a warm bed for the night. And then a darkness swallowed her whole. 6 days later, on the morning of January 15th, her mutilated body was found. She had been tortured, sawn clean, in half at the waist, her organs removed, washed, and placed back inside. Her mouth sliced open into a ghastly grin. There was no blood, as if her life had been drained in a sterile operating room. Even more disturbing was the display, a macabre artwork. Arms stretched wide, legs straightened, eyes open, face turned skyward like she was waiting for someone to find her. This wasn't just murder. It was a message, a statement, a game for the police, the press, and a terrified public. For days after the discovery, the city was still in shock. Headlines screamed. Across front pages, body cut in half in LA lot. Hollywood beauty slain in mystery killing. The horrific details spread like wildfire. The slashed smile, the surgical precision, the eerie cleanliness. It was as if the killer had been a surgeon, or worse, an artist. Then, something stranger happened. January 23, 1947. The newsroom of the Los Angeles Examiner received a strange envelope with no return address. The letters were cut out from magazines and pasted like a ransom note. Here is Dahlia's belongings. Inside was a package: Elizabeth's birth certificate, business cards, personal photos, and an address book listing 73 men's names. The killer didn't just murder her. He knew who she was, and he wanted the world to know too. He was sending a message. In the following days, more letters arrived. One read, on the 29th, "I will turn myself in at 10 a.m. at the police station. Please set up a trap." He never came. Instead, another letter arrived. "I have changed my mind. You would not give me a fair deal. I killed the Black Dahlia for a good reason." The letters were smeared in gasoline, wiping away any fingerprints. No prints, no DNA, no trail. What they had, however, was a profile. Someone skilled in anatomy, a master at hiding evidence, a twisted, brilliant mind. To the press, he became an artist of death. His canvas was her body. And Elizabeth, she was nothing more than a medium for his message. The nickname Black Dahlia first appeared in headlines shortly after. Elizabeth often wore black, adorning her hair with a dahlia flower. Coincidentally, a noir film called The Blue Dahlia had just premiered. And so, a new symbol of American horror was born. Elizabeth Short, the bright-eyed girl with a tragic past, was turned into an icon of an unsolved nightmare. Films were made, books were written. Her face became a canvas for storytellers and conspiracy theorists. But behind all the myth, the truth remained hidden, and somewhere in the shadows, the killer may still be smiling. What about you? Who do you think did it? What was the motive? And will the truth ever come to light? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to join us on more journeys into the most haunting crimes of the 20th century.